Good morning, children. This is Mr. Toran Sahu. Welcome you in online teaching session of Academic World School Bemetara. Children, I am here with the second chapter of grade 12 biology, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. First chapter has already been discussed and the videos have already been uploaded. You all might have gone through. Dear children, I urge you to open the copy or your notebook so that you could note down whatever I discussed today here in this lesson. Dear children, one more thing. At the end of that, I'll also be giving you the assignment. And these assignments will be uploaded and will be sent to you along with the link of this video. So let us begin with this chapter. So ready now? Children, the topics already I discussed. It's sexual reproduction in flowering plants. The subtopics which I am going to deal today are the flower, which we call the fascinating organ of the plants. Second, the pre-fertilization events. In this, we'll deal about the parts of the flower, structure of the stamen, and the structure of microsporangium. Children, you all know that everybody, we come across several types of plants. Every plants have different parts. That already has been discussed. Here, as I told, we'll be discussing about the flower. So let's see what exactly the flower is. When I talk about the flower, flowers are nothing but it is the modified shoot. So what is flower? The modified shoot. This definition of flower is according to biology. So when we ask somebody what's flower, in terms of biology, that is the modified shoot or modified stem. Children, these flowers, you see that the color, shape, size all vary. If I ask you to give some example of flowers that you see around, so there are rose, jasmine, lily, marigold, sunflower, and so on. So all these, if you compare their structure, their color, their shape, their size, their availability in different places, they all vary. Here we will not discuss about all those because we have discussed in grade 11th about all these. Here we will see about the process of sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. So these flowers, I told it is the modified shoot. The flower is also one of the major or important organ of the plants. And what type of plants? The flowering plants. So this flower is also the major reproductive organ of the plants. So flower is what? It is the major reproductive organ of the plant. When I say major reproductive organ of the plant, it means the sexual reproduction in plants completes in the flower only. So here we will deal about the different parts of the flower. Children, I have just drawn the diagram of a typical flower, just to let you know what the different parts are and how do they look. So let us begin with that. What are these different parts? Now, if we see that it has several parts. Basically, the flower, it has four major walls. What are these? The sepal, the petal, stamen, and the carpel. So all these are what? They are the parts of flower. So now let us see where all these parts are present in this diagram. You can see here the flower is attached with the main axis of the plants with the help of the structure, and this structure is called as stalk. What is stalk? Now the stalk, on its anterior portion, it is slightly swelled, and this swelled part is called as thalamus. Now you might be wondering what exactly the function of thalamus. Thalamus is actually the base of the flower on which the other floral parts arise. Now you can see here these structures which are coming out from the thalamus. So this is actually, when you see, it is found in green in color in the flower. So these structures are what? They are the sepal. This sepal is also called as calyx. So sepal or calyx, both are same. Now you see here the colored part. The colored part means, you can see I have drawn with the red color. That may vary in number. There might be 3, there might be many, there might be 5, depending upon the variety or the species of the plants. So this colored part is called as the petal. This is also called as corolla. Yes? Now see, the petal, it plays a major role. So these sepal and the petal, if I ask you what may be the function of this sepal. So sepal, basically it helps in the protection of the flower. You see that when the flower is in the form of bird, when the flowers initially start to develop in the plant, they are found in the form of buds, and the petals do not open. And you see that these sepal, the green colored structure, they surround the complete flower. So the other floral parts, they are safely kept inside the sepal. So the major function of sepal is to protect the other floral parts. The petals are of different colors. Now these petals, as they are of different colors, they are responsible for attracting the insects for pollination. What is? These sepals, they attract the insects for the pollination. Now see why this is needed. These are, means the petals are of different colors. They are of different, means bright in color. So these bright color, they attract the insect towards it. Even dear children, we also get attracted when we see any flower. Immediately when we see any bright color flower, we try to go and try to feel that. So here also, because of this its bright color, the insects are attracted and the flowers are pollinated. About the pollination we will deal in detail in another lecture. Now another one, stamen. The stamen, you can see here the thalamus and the sepal and the petals which are of different colors. Now these other structures, they all are present at the base, that is thalamus. So all the structure, they start arising from there. The development starts from the thalamus only. So you can see here the structure. You can see these structures which I am encircling. This is the anther, and these anther, you can see it has the long cylinder part that is attached with the swollen portion. So this cylinder portion is called as filament. What is filament? Now the anther and filament together, they are called as the stamen. What is anther and filament? Together we call stamen. Now this stamen, it is the male reproductive part of the flower. So what is the function of stamen? It is the male reproductive part of the flower. When I say male reproductive part, means these stamen, it has certain structure that produces the male gamete, about which we will be discussing further. Now, so these anthers, it may also vary in number. So here you can see there are four stamens which are present in this typical diagram of a flower. Now, when we see the another structure, you can see at the center there is one long slender portion with a swollen part, and this is called as the carpel. What do we call? Carpel. Now this carpel, it has three different parts. As I have told you, the stamen has two parts. So in the same way, this carpel, it also has two parts. I am erasing this so that I could tell you about the carpel. So let us see here. The upper slightly branched portion of this carpel, the anterior part, this is called as stigma. What is stigma? Now just below that there is a long slender part, and this long slender part is called as style. What is style? Now this style, if you see here, it gets swelled when it comes at the base. It means near the thalamus. So this swollen portion is called as ovary. What is ovary? Now all these three structure, which are stigma, style and ovary, all together are collectively called as carpel. So the carpel is what? It is the female reproductive part of the flower. So hope this is clear to you, the different parts of the flower. I am repeating it. The flower has four parts, and you know these all parts, they are arranged in a whorl. It means it is the thalamus acts as a base, and all other parts, they are arranged like that. So it has the sepal, petal, stamen and the carpel. Now in this we will discuss about the different events that occur at the time of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So now you understood the structure of flower. Now I am letting you know the other pre-fertilization events which take part in this process. So I am erasing this portion. Dear children, this process of sexual reproduction in flowering plants, it completes in major 3 events. How many? 3 events that you already have discussed in the first chapter. What are these events? The first is the pre-fertilization events. The second one is the fertilization or double fertilization. And the third one is the post-fertilization events. Now here we will discuss about the pre-fertilization, that already I have discussed a part, that is parts of flower. Now I will take the second one, that is structure of stamen. So we will discuss about the structure of stamen. As children, we have discussed about the parts of the flower. So I told you flower has basically 4 parts: sepal, petal, then stamen and carpel. These stamen, it actually arranged in the form of whorl, in the axis of the plants. And these whorl of the stamen, collectively they are called as the androecium. So what do we call? Androecium. So androecium is nothing but it is also the male part. So in androecium, all these stamens, they are present in the form of whorl, the clusters. So these stamens, they are of 2 types. When I say 2 types, so the structure of stamens in the flower, if you see that, so it has the anther and the second is filament. Now here I will draw the diagram to explain the structure of the anther. A typical anther, it has bilobed structure. You can see here, this is the complete structure that we call stamen. It is the anterior portion. You can see it, this anterior portion, it has this bilobed structure. This bilobed structure is called as anther. And the anther, it has the long slender portion that ultimately connects to the thalamus of the flower. And this structure is called as filament. So anther and filament together we call the stamen as the male reproductive part. Now I will tell you the structure of these anther. These anther, as I told, it has the bilobed structure. When I say bilobed structure, it means it has 2 lobes. You can see here the 3D view of the anther. This is the transverse section of the portion of an anther. You can see here, this is the transverse section where you can see 4 different chambers. These chambers, they are the pollen sac, where the pollen grains are formed. Now, as I was telling you, these anther, it is bilobed. It is bilobed, then it is also dithecous. Now see, what does dithecous means? Di means 2. Theca means a kind of sac, as I told. So this is the two lobes of the anther. This is the first lobe towards my left and this is the second lobe towards my right. So these two lobes, they have two theca. You can see here, two theca means two chambers are there. So each theca has two chambers or sac. That's why we call this anther as bilobed dithecus. Let me tell you, in most of the angiosperms, the anthers are bilobed. There are few exceptions, that is in the family Malvaceae, it has the single theca. Now we will discuss about the other structures of this. You can see here these two theca. You can see here there is a groove. This groove, it runs from the pollen sac to the end where the filament gets attached. You can see here this long groove, it is running from the pollen sacs and these completely attached with the portion where the filament starts. Now this filament, as I told, it is attached with the thalamus of the flower. Now each chamber, each lobe or each theca, they are separated with each other. So the separation is these longitudinal groove. So these longitudinal groove, it separates both the chambers of these anther. Clear? Now these anther, when we see its structure, the cellular structure, the tissues which are present in this, so for that we need to make the cross section of this portion. So children, I am just dealing with now the cross section of these one single chamber of the pollen sac, so that it will be clear to you. This particular portion or the content, it is frequently asked in the examination about the structure of the microsporangium. I have dealt with the structure of stamen. Now I am dealing with the structure of microsporangium. So I will make the enlarged view, the cellular structure of the microsporangium. So microsporangium is what? It is the pollen sac where the pollen grains are found. I am making the diagram of pollen sac. Each microsporangium, it has different layers. Basically, 3 layers are present in the microsporangium. These layers, they play different roles. So this microsporangium, you can see here these 3 layers. This is the outermost layer of these microsporangium and this is called as epidermis. The second layer next to epidermis, it is endothecium. What is endothecium? Now the next one is middle layer. Now these are the outer layers or the protective layers of the microsporangium or the anther. Now inside these, the pollen sacs or the microsporangium, particularly the pollen sacs, they are present. So these four pollen sacs, they keep on developing inside the microsporangium. Now you can see here this structure. It has, so this also has the outer wall, and this outer wall is called as tapetum. So all together what can we say? The total 4 layers wall are present in the microsporangium. 3 are the protective layers, that we can say epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and the last one, the innermost layer, that we call tapetum. It plays major role that I will be discussing in detail later on. Now, these pollen sac or single microsporangium, it has its outer wall, and that outer wall we call tapetum. Now here let us discuss about the functions of all these in detail. First is epidermis. As I told, epidermis, it acts as a outermost covering and it helps for the protection of the anther. The second one is endothecium. These endothecium, it is basically 2 to 3 layers of cells, and these endothecium, it plays major role for the dehiscence of the anther. What does dehiscence mean? It means when the anther gets mature, the pollen grains, they are released out of the anther. So this process is called as dehiscence. So endothecium layer, it plays major role for the process of releasing of pollen grains from the matured anther. And this endothecium, it has the specialized thickenings. So these endothecium, it has the thickenings of the alpha cellulose. It's important. So these alpha cellulose, because of the thickening of these alpha cellulose, it also seems as the fibrous layer. The thickenings are uneven. The thickening, because of the alpha cellulose, it is uneven in these endothecium. So because of that, what happens? It looks like fibrous, and this alpha cellulose, it basically absorbs the humidity from the surrounding, and because of that, the cells of these endothecium, they become turgid. As they are turgid, so the cells which have the alpha cellulose, these becomes turgid, and the cells which don't have these alpha cellulose in these endothecium, they do not get turgid. So because of that, what happens? The cells which gets turgid, these, okay, they do not involve in the process of dehiscence. So as a result, what happens? The cells which don't have these alpha cellulose, it doesn't get turgid. Because of that, it becomes weak, and these weak cells, they are responsible for the process of breaking down of the layer of endothecium. From there, the process of dehiscence or the cracking of the groove starts. Okay, so this is all about the endothecium. Next is the middle layer. Middle layer, it also is of 2 or 3 layers. These middle layer, it does not play major role in the process. Now what happens? Once the anther is mature or the microsporangium gets mature, the middle layer degenerates. Now the last innermost layer is the tapetum. Dear children, this tapetum, it plays the major role. This tapetum, it basically acts as a nutritive cell. What does it mean? Nutritive cell means the cells of the tapetum, they provide nutrition To whom? To the cells which are being developed as the pollen grain inside the microsporangium. Because these cells, they are going to be as the male germ cells, so they need the nourishment, and this nourishment is provided by the cells of these tapetum. Now these tapetum cells, they are special. Why are they special? There are different types of tapetal cells. So there are amoeboid tapetal cells, there are secretory tapetal cells. So in case of secretory tapetal cells, the cells of the tapetum, it becomes secretory. It means they become glandular and they start secreting the secretions. And these secretions, what happens? Outer wall of the single microsporangium, they secrete two substances. One is the callus and other one is the Ubish particles or the granules. So the tapetal cells, they also secrete the callus and the Ubish granule. Now these two chemicals, they are responsible for the process of formation of the outer wall or the axine of the microspore or the pollen grain. So these two, callus and the Ubish granule, these two are responsible for the formation of sporopollenin. This is sporopollenin. It is basically the strongest natural chemical which can withstand many alkalis, acid, and because of this, it makes the outer zone, outer surface of these microspore hard. Because of that, these microspore can be preserved as a fossil. You know, children, all parts of the plant, they may get destroyed, they may get damaged, but the microspore or the pollen grains, they do not get destroyed. They can be preserved, as I told, as a fossils. That's because of the presence of the chemical sporopollenin. Clear? Now, if we go by the functions of these different structures, we can come to know that all these structures, they provide strength to the entire structure, that is the upcoming structure, that is microspore. So this complete one microsporangium is the only place where the male germ cell starts developing. Now what exactly happened here? In the microsporangium, the inner wall, the specialized cells, they occupy the center of these microsporangium, and these are called as sporogenous tissue. These sporogenous tissue, they actually are nothing but the group of sporogenous cells which occupy at the center, and each sporogenous tissue is responsible for the development of microspore or the pollen grain. So this complete microspore, it will be developed as the male gametophyte, that is pollen grain. So for today, this is the last topic. I just recapitulate the things and then I'll give you the assignment. So today we discuss about the flower, the various steps of the fertilization, that are pre-fertilization events. In that we discuss about the parts of flower. In that we saw the this flower has the four walls, four parts: sepal, petal, stamen, carpel. Then we discussed about the structure of stamen. It is bilobed diathecous. And then we discuss about the structure of microsporangium. So microsporangium, it has the four total layers. Outermost layer is the epidermis, the second layer is the endothecium, middle layer and the tapetum. Tapetum plays major role as it is the outermost covering of the microsporangium. So the tapetal cells, they are binucleate or sometimes multinucleate. These multinucleate structure, it is because of the process of endomitosis. So this tapetal cells, they provide nutrition to the cells which are undergoing the process to make the microspore. Dear children, on the basis of this, there are 3-4 assignments in the form of questions which have been given in the ERP. So do download and do submit once you come back from the vacation. Thank you.